Alright, so we're here to show you the basics of Google Forms. We're going to go over these things. Form settings, what is the theme of a form, the different question types, how to edit, duplicate, and delete questions, what is a required question, and the different layouts. So there's an editing form, and there's also a live form, which is basically a preview of what the people taking your form will see. Alright, so let's go ahead and start. Let's head over to your drive. Click on the button that says New, and then you're going to look for the thing that says Google Forms. So it's not here, you're going to have to go down to More, find the icon that says Google Forms, and click on it. And notice that it opened up a brand new tab. So if you want to get back to your drive, all you'd have to do is click on the other tab, and then you're back here. Alright, so here's the basic layout. Up at the top, you have your toolbar. This is what you're going to save it as in your Google Drive. So I'm going to title this form Basics Part 1. And then I'm going to click OK. So you have your toolbar up here. This is your editing form. This is where you change your theme of your form, viewing your responses of your form, and the View Live form is basically what the people taking your form see. Up here, these are your form settings, and we'll go over that in just a second. This section in your form is where you actually build your form. So you can add different questions, take out questions, delete questions, etc. Right here you have Edit, Duplicate, and Delete. We'll show you how to use those in a little bit. And then down below is your confirmation page. Your confirmation page is basically after someone takes a form or completes a form, you can type in whatever you want here as the message to them. And then you also have a couple other options down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the form settings, which is going to be up at the top. In order to really think about what form setting you want to use, you need to think who is going to use your form. So these are your different options. You have require a SLO district login. You can have the form collect the SLO district unified information automatically. The progress bar is at the bottom of your form, and it basically allows the person taking it to see, oh, I'm a quarter of the way through, I'm 50% of the way through, I'm 75% of the way through, and I'm done with it. So that's just an option. The allow one response per person. If you're having them take a test, if you're having a student take a test, this would probably be a good setting to use so that they don't go back in and take it again for a second time. And then the shuffle question order is pretty obvious. For the require the St. Louis Coastal Unified School District login, if you're using this as a back to school night form, as a survey tool, you probably wouldn't want to check this because then they wouldn't be able to take it because they don't have the school login information. However, if you're using it with your students, then you definitely would want to use this because then it basically protects your test from people outside of just your students. And I would also strongly recommend, if you're giving this to your students, to automatically collect their information because you can use that later to email grades or tests back to students. Okay, let's go to theme. Theme is our next thing. So find the button up at the top that says Change Theme. Go ahead and click on it. And here you have a whole variety of different themes. You can have a homework theme, cat theme, whatever. You can also customize your theme. So in order to do that, you click on the button that says Customize, and you can add a new header image, so you can personalize it and make it something that's unique to you or your class. In order to go back, you go back to the Edit Questions button at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with this homework theme. So I'm going to go back to Editing Questions. So at any time, you can go back and change your theme, whatever you want. If you wanted to change it to a different one, like the beach, you can always do that. Alright, so I'm going to go back to Editing Questions. We're going to go over the different question types. So different question types is just referring to these options right here where it says question type. Some of them are pretty straightforward. Others may be slightly more complicated, but it's just going to require you to take time to try out each one and figure out what it does. All right, so for multiple choice, I'll say, I'll give an option like, what is your favorite color? So you can change your question type. You can have it be the text option is like a 1 or 2 or short response. And then in order to create a new question, there's 2 ways to do it. So after you finish something, you can click done. You can go down here to add an item. Click the little arrow to the right of it, and it allows you to select the different type. So you can do it that way. You can also, there's a little cool trick, is you can click the duplicate button and then just change the question type from there. Okay, so I'm going back to my second question. This is a paragraph text. I'm going to say, tell me about yourself. And I'll click done. And I'm going down to my third question, and I'm going to click edit. And I'll say, what is your favorite food? Oops. So I'm going to do multiple choice. I'm going to give them a couple different options. I'll say salad, pizza, hamburger. Okay, so I could always go down to done and then add item, but a little bit of a shortcut is to click the duplicate button and then change the question type from there. Check boxes. This allows you to select more than one option. So I'm going to click duplicate again. Choose from a list. This gives you a drop-down option, which you'll see in a second. Scale. So this allows you to put something on a scale. So let's say we can ask, like, how much do you like summer? A little, a lot. And we'll click duplicate. And I'm going to go down to the other one. So here's some other options. These are more of the advanced. But you can add like a specific time, the date, and I'm not exactly sure what the grid is. I want to maybe say it's for signing something up, but I'm not sure. So let's say these are my questions. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually don't want to use this last question. How much do you like summer with this different column here? So a really quick way to delete it is you go to the trash can icon, click delete, and then the question's gone. Okay, so we've showed you the different question types. And we showed you also the edit, duplicate, and delete buttons, which are right here in the top right-hand corner. We'll go to what is the required question. So if you have a question on your form that you want as required, like you must do it, there's this button right down here that says required question. So basically what happens is if the student goes through, or someone goes through your form and they haven't filled in this question that has a required question next to it, then it won't allow them to submit the form until they've completed this question. So a lot of the time if I'm doing like a test or something, every question is required so that if they skip it, they won't be able to submit it until they go back and do the question. A lot of times it's happened where students just forget, and so they're like, oh, I have to go back and do that. Over here under the advanced settings, you can also shuffle your option order. So if you're doing something that you want it mixed up for each question, you can always do that too. Okay, and then down to our last thing. So the edit form versus the live mode. So we're going to go back up to the toolbar at the top. Change theme, which we've already done. So this is what it looks like. View responses we'll get to in a little bit. The view the live form. So if you click on view live form, once again it opens up a brand new tab. And this is exactly what your form looks like from the outside, from someone taking it. You can also go ahead and take your form and get results. So I'm going to say favorite color, I'll say green, tell me about yourself, favorite food, here I can check multiple, here's that list option, and then here's the scale. And then you can actually submit your responses from there. When you're done with the View Live form, you're going to want to close the tab at the top, and then you're going to go back into your editing questions. All right, so up next we're going to show you the view responses. We're also going to show you how to use Flubaroo to grade your own test.